What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. It's another one-on-one with the supervillain series. We're in the February edition, coming back around. For those who may be new to the Patreon, I don't know if I'm gonna unlock all of these on the YouTube channel because so many of them have been like flooding the channel. People like, yo, so we'll figure out what it is. But nonetheless, I've had a ball doing these for almost the past year. And to watch people's lives change and my life change and to be a part of that and to talk and speak on that on their lives and mine and just talk about the different things. And because of course 2020 was a crazy year and we're into 2021 and we're back around again. So let's just get right into it, man. I'm with the homie Mr. Luis Torres. What up, bro?
Not much. It's a Friday. We made it through another week, so you know.
You look like you either haven't been asleep or you've been arguing with a wife and kids. That's how you look.
I feel that way. So
how are you? First of all, how are you feeling?
Good.
Again, last time we checked in, you know what I'm saying? Like you and I, we might correspond back and forth on social media, or whatever. But for those who might have seen the 101, you were recovering from COVID and everything. Mm-hmm. So how are you doing?
Overall, good. I just got my second COVID shot.
So you're vaccinated for sure now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good.
It was the second one yesterday. And
how do you feel like the shots? Like, because you know everybody's been having different reactions.
Want to talk about different reactions? My reaction, the first shot, it dropped me the first time. Like, I got it like around early in the mornings, around 8 o'clock or so, and then by the time it was 12. My energy levels just immediately dropped. My body started feeling very stiff, like as if I just like slept wrong or in the worst type of bed or whatever. And I just like had no energy. Like I just felt stiff and like I just sucked. And then it was bad. And then that lasted for a couple of days actually. I think I got on a Friday, so it lasted for me till probably the Monday after. Okay. But it was bad. And then this one though, it just like I got a shot right here on my left arm and it just hurts. Like the area where it was injected at or whatever, that's the only thing that hurt. Otherwise I'm good.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that, man.
So I've been wondering too, because my mom had it too, because she works in the clinic as well. Mm-hmm. And the first one she was fine, it just hurt. But the second one like dropped her out. Like she felt like
I've been hearing different people like the second one is what's taking like your energy away, but again, it's your body having to adapt to something new. And you got to excuse me, I'm eating
you're good.
Honey Stinger waffle. These are fuels because I'm, as always, drained. I have no energy. I have a lower back that is in pain beyond pain. I've been taking pain pills. I'm trying to keep from going to the doctor to get muscle relaxers and shit like that. And I'm still working out on a bad back. So that's what we have going on. So.
Look, nobody's asking you to work out on a bad back. That's just your decision.
I know. This I know. The Bible tells me so. I know.
But, otherwise I'm good. It's just, I don't know. I've been talking to my friends at work. Like, it's just weird, this new level of normalcy. You know what I mean?
What do you mean more so?
What I mean is...
Because it's weird. Because when people say weird, here's why. Because everybody's interpretation of what this is different. So that's why I had to, my interpretation of how this is just like we could have been done with this. Like we could have been done with what it's supposed to be. So everybody's interpretation of what it is different. So that's why I was asking, what is your interpretation that makes it weird?
It's weird because we've COVID is not going anywhere. It's staying in their environment like we talked about many, many times before. Mm-hmm. What's weird to me is how people still don't get that to their heads. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a year. We've seen what happens to people. We've seen to healthy people, and we've seen with what happens with people who aren't exactly healthy. Mm-hmm. We've seen everything. Deaths everywhere. Sometimes people are okay. Sometimes they lose they're on inhalers for the rest of their lives, or in the hospital for the rest of their lives, or whatever. But this is real. It's not going to go away. It's not going to disappear. This is our new normal. And I think that's why I kind of like that we have sports back, but at the same time, like not, because those are like testing how to go back to like a sense of quote unquote normalcy.
Right.
Where like if people were, because god damn, that's a big if. We saw the Super Bowl, and we're about to see WrestleMania. How that works out, but
Well, surprisingly, if you think about it, let's just be real. The Super Bowl wasn't as bad as everybody thought it was going to be.
no, they handled it a whole lot better, especially with them being in Florida.
And just in general with Super Bowl parties and everything else, because it's the 19th as we're recording this. We're 12 days removed from the Super Bowl. And if we were going to hear about spikes and anything, we'd have heard about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what everybody was concerned about, another massive spike, right? And we haven't heard of that. So that's a good sign, if anything. Because remember, everybody was like, oh my God, here come the Super Bowl. It's going to be these parties. I'm telling people, y'all worried about the wrong shit. I ain't even worried about WrestleMania. You know what I'm worried about? Happens next month. St. Patrick's Day. You think people who didn't get to kick it last year for St. Patrick's Day and have some level of a chance, or are just tired of a pandemic, not about to be in these streets, that's when it's going to get, and they drunk, that's when it's about to get real.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't see much of what was it, of Fat Tuesday, or what's the other celebration? Mardi Gras celebration.
Which means Fat Tuesday.
Yeah. No, like there wasn't a lot of talk about it, and like for here in where I'm at, there was a lot of cancellations of like you couldn't do it. I mean, obviously people probably did it because I mean they've been catching. Well, how can I put this? Parties where people get freaky with each other in like the thousands, you know, like it's still going on.
Hey, look, France had an 81 person orgy they had to break up. So
right, that's what I'm saying. If that's still going on, I mean, who's to know if they were still going to have, or we're still having a St. Patty's Day?
Well, I think we'll have it. We won't have it too. So I think the difference is with Mardi Gras. Well, both they apply same. Let me say they apply the same way. Mardi Gras is always known as this big thing, and it drives people to New Orleans. Number one, that was not a highly publicized thing this year. You know, going into it, to be in New Orleans, be on Bourbon Street, because everybody knew New Orleans, no matter what in the South, places are trying to, stay the fuck away from us, right? Basically. When it comes to St. Patrick's Day, it's not so much a super spreader everywhere. And I only say that as somebody from Chicago who knows how Chicago celebrates St. Patrick's Day. So when you have certain towns, a Chicago, a Boston, maybe a New York, certain places that celebrate it like it's, in full force, those are places you concern with, because it's not going to be that global super spreader. Like, I don't know if you heard, so the NBA All-Star game is in Atlanta this year. Atlanta told people, don't come here. They told people, like, they want the only people to celebrate the All, which is smart. The people they want to celebrate the All-Star game are people that are already in Atlanta. If you in Atlanta, you live in Atlanta, you live in Augusta, you live in Georgia, you've been in this community, you've been with everything, please celebrate, have fun, do it safely, responsibly, mask, all this. But don't come flying y'all asses out here.
See, but I think should we count those as like actual tests of what's going to happen, like if we're able to bring everything back to normal, or do we count those as outside of the norm? You know what I mean? Because they have more money to properly like protect their people and the people in the event.
Here's the way I say you have to look at it as the normal level, because again, All-Star Week happens every year, different cities every year. The thing is, when you got it the way you see it as normalcy, and again, if I'm stumbling a lot, please forgive me. My body is just drained. Again, I want to make sure.
You're good.
The normalcy is the fact that even no matter where the host city is, people flock into the host city. And then when they flock into the host city, they may hypothetically be clear, COVID-free, whatever. Then they contract it unknowingly. Now they go back. So that's the normal, but that's like, again, with the flu, with a cold, blah, 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 et cetera, just so people can have that understanding. But we're looking at it on a wider scale when we're talking about the coronavirus, you know what I'm saying? So for some, the sense of normalcy or going back to normal was always going to happen. And again, it's mainly due to the fact of the former president. Because if again, leadership at the top, if your country's leader says, listen, this is serious. We're going to lose a lot of American lives. I know you're frustrated, but I need you all to do this and do that and listen to these scientists and these people. You're going to have those who push back regardless. That's going to happen naturally. It's a given. But the overwhelming majority that will push back wouldn't have been that of his supporters, because those who were the supporters were already like, dude, I'm taking care of myself, right?
Sure.
Supporters, that majority of them would have been like, okay, I just got to wear a mask. I got to, it's serious.
And then not only that, I think I'm pretty sure you talked about it with Winston Blur's. One of the episodes was about how when Biden got into the office, there was no actual plan for COVID. Like there was no actual plan in places.
Like, he had to make it up himself. Yeah.
So like I made a joke to my friend when we the next day they was like made public that I can guarantee you every time he like just went on a rant on Twitter, it was because of that. He was like trying to push away that he didn't really have a plan, like always.
Dude, remember,
and then
for 4 years he kept saying, I have a plan that's going to replace Obamacare. He kept saying it. And then when everybody up kept asking, well, where is it? It's coming out in a couple of weeks. He knew how to play the stall game.
Yeah.
And people people called him out on it. They didn't directly call him out like those in media and shit like that. Shit like, yo, you keep saying this. Why don't you just say you don't have anything? But I mean, people forget that too. People automatically assume that because you come in as a new administration, you have everything set that you want to do to go forward, not knowing that you are still taking over the reins from the administration before you. So when you hear administration say, we left the incoming administration this, we did that, we left that. So now you ain't got no plan for coronavirus that's been here a year. You sitting there talking, your whole goal was, let's just get people to get vaccines. Let's have these companies, these pharmaceutical companies, run an arms race in a sense, because there is no reason the vaccine should not have been done and out to everybody. It's the fact that you got 4 companies trying to figure out how they can maximize profit on it.
I did a little bit of research on that too, like how come it happened. But apparently, from what I understand, the reason why the vaccine was out as fast as it was because they've already been studying SARS. They've been not only SARS but just viruses in general. And then it was this what essentially what started it all is with the vaccinations. It was that this was a new treatment that they've been working on for the past 20 odd years or whatever for a while now, and it just happens to happen that this fucking thing happened, and they're like, well, shit. And then they changed like how they were doing it before, because it wasn't going to be essentially specifically for for coronavirus. It was going to be for other types of vaccines, because they were experimenting how to create better vaccines instead of just injecting you with essentially the virus. And what we got with the vaccination is what essentially the years of research end up being.
That's why I've been telling people that. They were like, well, how did they come up with a vaccine so fast? Not only have it been work again, if you look at what the coronavirus is, it's a form of SARS. So you already have something in regards to vaccine on that. 2, you have the smartest people in the world stopping work on everything else and focusing on that.
For sure. I think it shows what we're capable of if we really try. You know what I mean?
Ain't it amazing? If we really want to do something, we can do it. But when you always hear things of, oh, this can't be done, that's not true.
For sure. Speaking of not knowing how to do it, dude, I just had my first charity drive. And I know I sent you early information, but right now it's still open. So I did it on January the 30th to the 31st. So it was like the end of the month on the weekend. So I figured not a lot of people were going to do it because, again, it's the end of the month. So I left it open till it's going to be open till this month ends on the 28th. And it's going to close down. And right now we have $520 raised for No Kid Hungry. And for that means that's 5,200 meals for kids that didn't have that before.
Wait, from $520?
So yeah, so every dollar equals 10 meals.
Okay, that's what. Okay, okay, cool.
So
cool.
the equivalent is essentially once it's all done, and I just click send, and it sends to No Kid Hungry Foundation. That's 5,000 meals for kids that didn't have that before. With kids that are essentially, who knew we were gonna have a massive No Day After Tomorrow in 2021?
Actually, you know what? A lot of people joke they knew it because Texas. So I don't know if you remember hearing the stories recently. Texas got hit with a winter storm in a sense back in 2011, and when Rick Perry was the governor, and they were like, "Yo, in order to save this, to keep this from going bad, you're going to have to winterize and insulate these power plants." And dude was like, "No, Texas would rather suffer than blah 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 and have regulations." And again, Texans being so because they are so programmed. A lot of these people are so programmed to believe anything that is done on the Democratic side of the aisle, which I'm never going to say Democrats are perfect. I'm not going to say that because again, no political party is perfect. But anything that is said from that side is automatically meant to hinder and take away freedoms. When they were like, "Yo, you need to do this for the betterment of everybody," told them no, said no. Now this shit hit, and they like.
Which sucks because I have a lot of friends who live in Texas, and I think some of them just got their power yesterday. I'm like, fuck, and then they get hit with, "Oh, you got to boil your water." I'm like,
because the filtration all.
I can only imagine, and my heart goes out to the people also in Mexico who, because it went to northern Mexico, and those areas are not made for that type of a winter. Yeah, it gets cold because it's the desert, and at night it gets pretty damn chilly, but not to what we experience like up in Chicago or Wisconsin or here in St. Louis sometimes, where it's like you're dying of cold. It sucks.
It sucks. It sucks for the residents, but it also is one of those. This is the. I guess irony might be the best word for this. This is going to be the irony of it. This sucks for the residents, right? A lot of these motherfuckers have suffered for a week. Some have almost died, right? Some have had major health issues. How much you want to bet they're not going to change it? And by not change it, they're not going to vote out the people who fucked them over.
They're not, because again, Texas believe that Texas are the best.
So,
and I'm not surprised if they're going to succeed. Within
they can't. They're not. Nobody succeed. All those conversations of succeeding from the union are frivolous. None of them. Again, when you have certain states that be like, "Oh, we gonna succeed," you do realize because you want to succeed, you get no aid from anything else. You
not
think
only that,
you're self-reliant, but you're not. But when it comes back to it, you're gonna have Texans who are gonna be like, "Well, I'm still not voting for a Democrat." Again, I always use Kentucky. Yes, Louisville and Lexington are blue cities. So because they go blue cities, they understand, but the outskirts are always going to be Republican. The main place is getting smashed and, smacked across the board. So they vote against their own best interest. You're going to have the same thing in Texas. Again, this has happened for the second time. Now, this is a once in a generation storm, but you already told before it can happen. So now the question becomes, do Texans sit there and tell their governor and tell their local their lawmakers, "Yo, get this shit done so we don't have to go through this again"?
I mean, when they're what the hell is what's his name?
Governor
Abbott, and then the senator
Cruz and
punk ass Cruz. When Cruz that goes to Mexico, to essentially his homeland, but his homeland doesn't want him.
Yeah, Canada don't want him.
Ted Cruz can go, like, it pisses me off too that he essentially threw his daughters under the bus.
Essentially he did.
Okay, yeah, and like, what kind of a father would do that? You know what I mean? Like,
one who knows he's a piece of shit dad.
It just, that pisses me off. It's just like, how? Why? You damn soda killer. It just,
the thing is, so here's the thing. You have somebody who will throw their kids under the bus because they've watched the person they're trying to be like. They've watched them do the same thing. And so they're trying to appeal again. Cruz, Howley, and a couple of others aren't looking at just their states. They're looking at, let's call it for what it is, Trump's base. They're still trying to appease them because they believe he's going to run in 2024. Okay, before y'all believe, I keep telling everybody, before you believe he's going to run in 2024, you need to believe he's not locked up in 2024
or dead,
because his health is not good and he's old.
No, because people don't want him alive.
That too. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm just saying. So
there's
all these folks, right? So Cruz talks as if he's trying to talk to America, not Texas. And that's how he talks. He speaks to America. So everything he does is because it's the same shit Trump did. It's the same shit Trump would have done. Trump would have done it. And so now Cruz is like, well, it probably wasn't. He sat there and lied and said, I went down there for one day to come right back. Motherfucker,
nobody. Not with that luggage.
Cancun for overnight. Nobody. They even said it. They even, the airline reservation, everything dimed him out. Like, yo, his ticket was for Saturday. His ticket to come back was for Saturday. He wasn't. So, like, you got so again, and then people like, oh, well, what was he supposed to do? He's a senator. He makes laws in Washington, D.C. That's true.
That's what they paid him for.
But also, it is on record that he has the resource connects with energy and power, things for Texas.
For sure.
It's on record. So they're like, yeah, you could have done something. Also,
donated money, donated your time, like Pete Buttigieg did.
Beto O'Rourke did that. That's what I'm about to bring up. Beto O'Rourke, who he barely beat, was like, fuck this. I'm finna be out in these streets. I'm not doing this as a political gain. I'm doing this to show you this is what should be done. This is what a leader does. This is what needs to be done for the people. But, again, you got somebody like Cruz who's gonna be that type of dickhead.
I have to believe that retribution is coming to them. You know what I mean? Like, I have to believe it. Otherwise, what the hell is the point? Also, if you're wondering why my nails look like they're painted, they're not. It was a failed attempt at dyeing my hair because one of the Mets, like if we reached 500 for the charity, was I would dye my hair. And as you can already tell, I kind of failed at it. First attempt.
First of all, I didn't even see your fingers until
look.
Because your light is on so bright. I wouldn't have been like your light's on so bright, so I barely would have noticed. But I barely saw your hands, so I didn't really pay attention. You were like, in case you were noticing, and I was like, I really didn't. But thanks for no. But it's all this shit, man. It's just it's you want people to. Yeah, it's not saying you have to vote Democrat or you have to vote. It's just vote for what's best for you, not because you just have an utter hate and disdain for somebody else. Again, people are always like, well, look what Joe Biden did. Look, everybody already know. The overwhelming majority of people that voted for Joe Biden were not voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
They were voting to get Donald Trump out of office. There is a big ass difference. But you have all those situations, man. But again, now we're in a different. We're supposedly in a new day and age. Keyword supposedly. And the only reason I say that is we're just in a new year. We're just in a new calendar day, as we will be tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Nothing really changes until things we allow to change. And then also, people are like, well, we're dependent on the government for this, and then you shouldn't depend on the government. Well, you should depend on the government. When people do those, go back and forth with those, I'm like, which one is it?
Right, for sure.
Which one is it? Because if you shouldn't depend on the government, don't say shit when they don't do nothing. Don't say shit when they don't do nothing.
It's the same people that complain about it too. In the end, too, you notice that, right? The same people that complain. It's the same people that complain. They say, "Oh, the government should be helping us out." It's the same people say, "Oh no, the government should not be helping you out. They should be helping me out."
Right? It's like, yo, make up your mind. Make up your mind. Make up your mind what it should be, because it can't be both.
Yeah,
it can't be both, because you're not going to have it where, oh, these people aren't worthy of being helped. I am. Why are you worthy? Because of my tax bracket. That doesn't make any difference. And actually, if you're in the higher tax bracket, you should actually be the people the government don't worry about because you can technically take care of yourself. It's those in the middle to lower that they should be focused on. But you get people who don't see that shit, man. They don't see that. They don't think.
Because they want to keep making money. The rich stay rich because they barely spend any and they get a lot of money back.
The rich stay rich because they never spend their own. I've seen that, and I'm starting to learn that as far as, like, if you have money in the bank, and you say you're saving that money, right? So you have money in the bank, and you want to keep that money. Well, when you have more money come in, you just figure out what the let's say you have 7,000 in the bank, right?
Mhm.
You want to keep the 7,000 in the bank. You need to keep this. That 7,000 needs to gain its own interest, and et cetera, et cetera. So what do? Oh, I got a check for 300 coming in. That's the only money I'm spending. I got a check for 1,000 coming in. All right. So that's 1,300 together. Now that's got to pay for bills and hold me over. Now all this other extra money. So now I got all this money. The 7,000 is still in the bank. It's still in the bank. I'm just spending this money that I have. Now, is this money starting to develop interest in all these other things? That becomes the question. Is this?
Yeah, it sucks. I do got a question though, changing the topic again with my ADHD. How's your I know you can't necessarily speak on the projects that you may or may not have gotten word back that said yes, you got. But what's something that you're looking forward to that may be coming up sometime soon? You know what I mean? Something like, okay, yeah, I like this. Let's do it.
Um.
Come down the
So
pipe that you're able to talk about, I guess.
no. It's cool. So I am working with a network and another internet network that wants me to work with them directly a as a member of their staff and contribute to being paid and et cetera, et cetera. So we had a discussion. I think it was today is Friday, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. We sat down yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And me and one of the producers of the network and stuff, we've been going back and forth. We've been corresponding over a year, especially since everything with Collider happened. He's been constantly asking me, do I want to do stuff with them? I was like, yo, I'm open to it as long as you take care of me, I take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
You let me see the benefit out of it, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's gonna be benefit, if I'm not just here to be here, it has to be beneficial at the end of the day.
Sure.
So, we were talking about that. We spoke yesterday and we got the ball rolling. We got the ball rolling on something there. I'm on a veil for a couple of projects, which means I haven't booked it yet, but I'm one of those people that's like, if he's open and we say yes, he got it. So that's that. I've just been, steadily auditioning. I'm taping my first I'm taping a comedy set for TV the end of the month. So that's going to be on. It's going to be on network television. So I'm taping a set for that. Taping a small set for that for network television, which is kind of dope. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
They actually reached out to me. They reached out to my agent. Actually,
that's
they reached
cool.
out to my agent and was like, "Yo, we are a big fan of Jay. We want Jay on this." My agent was like, "Yo, you should do it," and I was like, yes." So they gonna
do it.
So they're sending me the equipment the end of the month. They're gonna send me all the equipment to record it and stuff, and I'm gonna record it here, of course, and we can go from there. But it is for me, it's a lot of little irons in the fire. Some of them and many of them are beginning to catch. I'm just waiting on that one giant piece of iron ore to just turn bright red. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's coming. I'm telling you. You put good energy out in the world. You do what you've been doing for the past years now. Man, I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
I'm one of those people that I believe in the reaping, the reaping of your what you've sowed. You sow what you reap or reap what you sow. Whatever, how's it go? Reaping the benefits of what you sowed. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that believe in that. But I'm also the type that I'm so, for lack of better words, tunnel focused, where I'm like, I got to keep doing, I got to keep moving forward. I can't sometimes, I reap the benefits as far as I do them, but I don't look at them as it's a beneficial thing.
Yeah.
I finally did this and I finally did that, which I'm learning to celebrate my accomplishments. That was one of the biggest things I've always, for example, when I did my Super Bowl commercial last year, when we did it in December, it was cool. We didn't even, first of all, we just knew we were filming for. Then we knew we were filming for. We were like, okay, when we signed our forms, oh, it's Facebook. Bet. We just knew it was a Super Bowl Facebook commercial. So when it dropped on the Super Bowl, it was the commercial for the 2-minute warning in the final 2 minutes of the game, which is the most expensive spot you can have in advertising time. Dope. All this attention, all these eyes, everybody, yo, you got the Super Bowl spot, blah, blah, blah. I was excited. I, done something. I was making some money. I was able to take care of myself, take care of my kids for a minute. I was good. I'm happy for that. I'm excited. Damn, this is a major accomplishment. What's next? That's how I looked at it. Because I can't relax on it. When I did, I tell everybody going back to doing Chirac in 2015. I taped the movie and we taped in May, all of May to like the beginning of June. Once I taped, once we filmed the movie, I was done. I was like, all right, what's the next? Then I filmed another movie right behind it. All right, that's it. What's done? I was like, what else keep doing? So then a couple commercials and a couple print ads and whatever. So then I wait till December 2015, excuse me, when it comes out. Sure. Okay, it's out. What next? I do something else. I do another commercial. I do something on TV. I do another film. All right, it's out. What's next? Because I think this way because
you're a hustler.
I'm a hustler, number one. Number two, I've seen so many, especially being a stand-up. This was the number one thing, being a stand-up. Coming up in Chicago, you see so many comics who are veteran comics, but their only claim to fame may be they did Comic View or Def Comedy Jam back in the day. And this is almost 10, 12 years removed. So it's always that, yeah, it's the nostalgia feeling in that, but now what have you done recently? So I never wanted to have to basically
rest on your laurels.
Rest on my laurels of what I've done in the past. I need to keep going forward. And it's no disrespect to by any means. Sure. Yo, to have these are major accomplishments. But I've always believed in like the Janet Jackson song, "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" And so it's like I got to keep going. And so to be able to put so much stuff out there, man, it's like I'm grateful to God for everything He's done for me, and just knowing that it's going to come to fruition in a massive way, dude. I was, auditioning for movies and TV shows, and then you see the announcement in the trades that you didn't get it. You're like,
sure.
Well, it is what it. You don't hear at the certain time. You're like, I ain't get it, but then you're like, yeah, figures.
Okay, so here's a question, or I'm gonna ask you a question in a bit, but I get what you're trying to say. Like I'm with you in the same thing. Like I don't see the forest for what I've done. I only see the tree in front of me, so I can't really see the whole picture. But I'm telling you, from somebody who is in the same boat, maybe not your level yet, but you have done so many amazing things. You just I hope one day you get to realize that you've done great things. My philosophy is that if you're able to help one person out, if you're able to change a person, even for 1 second, even make them laugh for 1 minute, give them that levity that they needed, maybe for because they've been having a shitty week. You know what I mean? If you're able to do that, you are changing the world. And that's my philosophy, right? That's why I started this whole channel all those years ago, is because I wanted to be able to change somebody's world, be able to change the world. And slowly and surely I'm doing that. But man, you've been doing that for the longest of times, from your wrestling career, from your stand-up career, to now your TV, hopefully sometime soon, movie career. So I can say, hey, yo, I know Jay Washington. Shit. That name drop. But you are doing something incredible, and I hope you get to see that one day. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I mean, I do see a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. There are many times I'll get a message, or I get a lot of messages on Instagram in my DMs from people who say, I just wanted you to know, how much of a positive influence or how much I admire what you do. I get a lot of those, and this isn't even just trying to exaggerate them. And they all are legit overwhelming, and they all hit me here sincerely. But I'm so caught when they say that, because it catches me off guard, because I don't expect it by any means. And so when I get it, I'm like, I appreciate this so much. Because it just came out of nowhere. I might have been having a shitty day myself.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I hope you realize that, though, because you do mean the world to a lot of people, and it's incredible the reach that you have. So I hope you maybe that's where the stress comes from too. For you, because I know that comes from me.
Listen, it comes a lot, but I get it. I mean, but you have a great point. I mean, you're definitely saying you make a good point. I do see what I do. I do see what I do. I do see how it reaches people. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm grateful for it. But I always want to just be I've always said I want to just use my gifts to give to the world,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to give it to the world. Now granted, thanks to this thing, and the internet, I do,
Sure.
but I want to give it on such of a massive level. You know,
And who says you're not? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, who says you aren't? There might be a kid out in Canada who like watches your shit and like loves it. You know what I mean? Like
yes,
you just never know when that happens, because I don't know if you've experienced it yet, but or you already have. But like I started this thing by myself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Knowing nobody and doing streams to 0 people, and then somehow some way an esports team got like saw my stream and they started following me, and they just adopted me into their family. And from then on, like doing the podcast with you when it happens once a month, it's always been like a fun time. People follow me and say, dude, I'm a fan of you. Like they DM me on like on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. They
Mhm.
say, dude, you're really good, I like what you're doing, I'm become a fan of you. I'm like, I I don't think I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I I know that I'm not good or good enough for a follow, but like I guess I still can't grasp that like, hey, you're good, I like you. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you something. I am one of those people. So my career, no matter what, my career has always been some way, somehow speaking into a microphone, whether it be through
Mm-hmm.
a camera or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I hate hearing my own voice sometimes. So, and I say that for when people are like, yo, I just love listening to you.
Mm.
Like, I'd be like, damn, okay. Like, for instance, a lot of people are like, yo, where's the newest episode of The Man Titan? I'm like, first of all, I want to get it out. I mean, it's not like so first of all, there's not like it's not news to talk about. It's just that I've been inundated with so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been like literally, I've had auditions. I just got one before I did this that I was so tired when I woke up this morning. I woke up, had to jump on because Winston was like, I need you last minute. Somebody he was like, I need you because um somebody canceled last minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, bet. And so I did the IG show. Then I did my review, recorded that and all that. And I was just so drained so quick. But then I'm half laying down. My phone goes off. I check my phone and I was like, oh, come the fuck on. And it's literally a last minute audition that says do ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had so many of those. And so those have been, I'm just seeing if this is the same thing. Try again. And I've had so many of those. And so those keep me going. And I'm like, fuck, all right, let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me make
Mm-hmm.
things happen. Let me make things happen. And I'm like, just be drained. And so when I'm trying to do Mad Titan, I'm like, I want to do it, but all this other stuff, being in front of this camera is tiring.
Yeah.
Not having so many not having so many people I reach out to do collaborative episodes anymore is tiring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yo, where the fuck? I'm literally like I'm talking to you, hearing you, and doing two
Mm-hmm.
things at one time. Like literally, my buddy has hit me like, yo, what about this thing on Final Draft? And I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, I just gave you the code 3J52SHN7G7K. Did you go join? I'm not getting the notification. But yeah, so it's like I I do see what what the response is from people. I do hear it. I do feel that love that keeps me going. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that consistently. And it definitely is something that allows me to push forward because the thing is, if I didn't feel like if I felt like nobody was really listening to me,
Mm-hmm.
if I felt like I wasn't reaching anybody through any shape, form, or fashion, I know me personally. I
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact I'm not going to be trying to sit there and just talk to myself.
Sure.
So, That's one of those things. But yeah, I get everything you're saying, bro. I really do, and I appreciate it. It really hits me. It really, it's just trying to make it happen more so than anything than what people see, because I just want, again, I want to be successful.
Yeah.
To be able to I want to be more so financially successful because of my babies. I can make sure I take care of myself. That's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given. But my babies are, the ones. So yeah, like, and people like, how many kids you got? Like, I got two. People like, my babies. They be like, what? I'm like, I technically don't even have babies. I got a 17-year-old who's almost a grown man.
Please, a parent will always see their kids as their babies.
Oh no, I told
never gonna go away.
I told him, you're always gonna be my baby boy. I told him that always. I was like, you're always gonna be my baby boy. Like, yo, don't get it twisted, kid.
Right.
Like, don't ever get it twisted, sir. And he'd be like, oh, pops. I'd be like, yeah. Like, don't get it twisted, kid. Like, this is what it is, fam.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's just,
like, trust me, it's gonna come back to you. You're putting. I do believe in God. I do believe in karma. I do believe in, the power of the universe. I do believe that if you put good stuff onto the universe, whether it's by helping out a friend, by yourself, doing good stuff on, like, doing videos on YouTube, whether people realize it or not, being as helpful as you possibly can to as many people, that's gonna come back to you in so many shape or form.
You know how hard it is sometimes. When I first started doing my YouTube channel, I tell a lot of people, so I never was going to do my channel like the way it was. I have always had a YouTube channel per se, but my channel was always just for uploading stand-up clips to submit, or when I was wrestling, to put a wrestling clip to submit when I'm trying to get book places. Wasn't until I started doing all this online shit, when I started popping up on Screen Junkies and then Collider and Nerdist and all that. And everybody was like, yo, do you have your own channel? And I was like, nah, not really. And I was like, well, fuck it. Let me see what happens. And for me, it was like, all right, I'm gonna do a couple of these because this is what people see me do on these things, right? This is what they see out here. So I'm gonna do that. Cool. But then when I started realizing people were looking forward to hearing my thoughts in particular.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, that's when I sort of started developing the obligation. And I'm like, okay, and plus I like doing it. Like, for instance, doing WandaVision reviews is great because.
No spoilers, because I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to see it with my sister today. Or the newest episode.
Okay, I figured that, but how do you.
I stay off of Twitter, Instagram, anything. Okay.
I'm glad you're smart enough.
Sometimes I get think by you, say, like, put a new tweet like WandaVision Justice. I'm like, you motherfucker.
But the thing is, unless you know what I'm talking about, that's why I know how to. Certain things I know how to put. Like, I know how to put a spoiler, and I know how to put something that's vague to the point where you're like, what could he be talking about? But I also, like, I do this now I got this thing I do Thursday night right before midnight. I say, well, you know what time it is. If you are going to be complaining about spoilers, you might want to go and mute WandaVision, everything that's connected to it, or so stay off social media. Because I tweeted this last night. I said, stay off social media until you see it, because people don't have to hold back their thoughts.
For sure.
You haven't seen it, not in particular, but there's so many people, like, because I remember one dude came to me, was like, man, you can't just wait till people see it. I said, yo, people have seen it, you just haven't. I said, you do realize there's an option to unfollow me if you want to, because he was like, damn, I wasn't gonna I like following you, but since you're gonna be a dick about it, I said, no, since you came at me like a dick, I'm gonna come back one.
See, again, the karma that dude put out, he got it back in tenfold. You don't want to unleash the J when he gets pissed off.
Right, like, don't come at me talking about something. You can't wait till people see it. No, I did. No, you haven't seen it. My obligation. Sure. I'm sorry,
but your obligation is to be.
Like, what'd you say?
I was gonna say your obligation is to, like, tweet about it, because that's your job.
Well, not even just,
you know what I mean?
My job, but it's also something I like and I want to talk about. But at the same time, it's like, oh man, I gotta wait till this one particular fan sees this. I can't say shit till it's one person who I don't talk to,
right?
Who I've never met in person, who I have to wait until they specifically see this because I can't say shit until they see it. I need to I need confirmation that they have seen it. Like, because one of my homies, he works in news in Chicago, and he was like, man, some people just can't wait till later today to talk about it. I said, hey, homie, I knew he wasn't talking about me directly, but I was like, hey, homie, you see me out in these cyber streets. I ain't hard to find. Like, he's to be my boy, so I'm joking with him. Sure. Hard to find because I've always felt that way with anything now because of this whole spoiler alert, Game of Thrones, and all that stuff. How people like spoiler, don't say nothing. Like, let people get the chance. That's not on. Then people try to say, "Oh, you're being inconsiderate." No, I'm not.
There were books already out, so
I'm not inconsiderate. Right. Now, granted, there are different twists and stuff that are happening, but it's not inconsiderate. It's sitting there saying, if I'm the first person, like I've seen Superman and Lois, which I need to go ahead and drop my review. I've seen Superman.
I'm excited for that one.
I saw it 2 weeks ago. I could have been told people what Superman and Lois is about. I've seen Coming to America. I could have been told people what that is about.
Just thumbs up, thumbs down.
Can't do either one right now.
Damn.
Not allowed to.
Damn. I just saw That's American. You're like, yeah.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I could have did all that and said, no, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening there. But like, nah, I don't want to be that dude. Like, that's a different story. If you're one of the few people privy to something, and then you just say, like, if I go, luckily, like anytime we would go to the Disney screenings, right? 9 times out of 10, when you go to the Disney press screening, the embargo is up immediately after the movie's over. They want to make sure it's up by that time.
Sure.
So you can talk about it then. But it'd be a different story. You go see a Disney movie, for instance, and it's a Marvel movie. Let's just use that as an example. And your embargo isn't up until a week later. So now you're one of maybe 100 people total in the country or the world that have seen this movie early, maybe 100, 200 people that have seen this movie. And now you can talk about it, but the only people who understand everything you're talking about are part of that group that's seen it. Everybody else is like, damn, you just gonna spoil for everybody? That's being inconsiderate.
Sure.
That's being inconsiderate.
No.
But like, when people be like, yo, if something just came out, wait till Monday. Ain't nobody gotta wait till the weekend because you got shit to do. That was always fair. People like, can't you wait till Monday to talk about it? I gotta wait
on who?
On you, because one of my buddies, he works for Netflix, not Netflix, Nerdist. He was like, people get mad at them because Nerdist won't change won't talk about it unfold until Monday morning, and some people still get pissed talking about something. You couldn't wait. Motherfucker, we already gave you a week.
For sure. And like for me, my sister just was trying to come downstairs see if I was streaming or not. She goes, Luis, are you ready? That's I promised her today we're gonna go see it. So I'm excited for that because I got a couple theories. So like,
Let me get your theories.
Okay, so first of all, it's WandaVision is Wanda the one that causes like I told you about already that she's the one that causes the mutation on everybody. She's gonna go crazy instead of saying no more mutants, she's gonna make the mutants somehow. I don't think it's gonna be Richards because it's too small of a engineer. Like it's a space engineer that she's talking to. I'm like, Reed Richards is more than just that. He's an inventor. He's like on Tony Stark level. So I don't think about that. Maybe Dr. Doom, but at the same time, again, same thing. He's on the level of Reed Richards, Tony Stark, so on and so forth. So I don't know. The big surprise, it's not Evan Peters, as much as I like him as
Quicksilver.
Thank you. It's not as Pietro, and it's not him. He's not the big, like the one that they were talking about. Oh, he's going to be the Luke of our Marvel series. I know. My theory, my money is on after seeing the not this week's but the previous one. That is going to be Doctor Strange. Because
I don't think so. I'm gonna tell you why it's not. I'm gonna tell you why it's not. Because he's not gonna be considered a Luke Skywalker cameo because you know he's involved. You already know he's involved. You know her show connects to his next movie. That doesn't make him showing up isn't no big, oh my God, it's Doctor Strange. It doesn't do it. You
Fair.
know what I'm saying? Just so you, I mean, just so
Mhm.
people can be like, because I've seen some people be like, oh man, that means it's Doctor Strange. It's like, no, everybody already knows that WandaVision connects into Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, like, and I as much as I wanted to, like, all these drops that Disney is putting out about like Mephisto or reference to Mephisto or whatever, I don't think it's going to be Mephisto as much as I would like it to. They're cool Easter eggs, but Disney is Marvel especially. They're really good at teasing the fans without giving anything away. Like, you know what I mean? Something as obvious, it's not going to be that specifically it, but it's going to be something different or something related to it.
I'll say this, and this ties into this episode without saying anything.
Mm.
You're right. They'll do a whole bunch of like, this is what you think it is, but then they'll do one or two things that make you go,
The fuck?
wait, is this what I think it? Because
I'm so excited.
they'll hit you. You be like, yo,
Mhm.
this is that certain person, or this is what's gonna happen, and they'll put everything in a row for you to be like, see, it's this, and then all of a sudden they'll be like,
Nope.
well, let's, because basically they did that with Pietro. They opened everybody when they. So again, you had to be done. I knew, like I said, called it months ago. He was gonna show up as Quicksilver, as a version of Quicksilver, as Pietro. Everybody was like, oh shit, this officially made the mutants in the universe and blah 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 blah. In the very next episode, they were like, doo, 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 and shot everybody's mutant theories down real quick. They shot that shit down out the air because again, the whole show's been taped, so they knew everybody was gonna jump into this. It's mutants, it's mutants, it's mutants, it's mutants. The very next episode, they was like, hey man, I don't know how I got here. I got shot up for no reason. But
no,
everybody was like,
you have to like that. Also, like, help me. Like, I know it's it's Pietro, but with a different skin. You know, because like again, because it's too obvious for it to be Mephisto. It just is.
Yeah,
I still think he's involved in it because they're using a version of him, but I think he's going to show up more in the Loki series. But it just. I can't wait to see tonight's episode. Oh my god! Like the theories, it just I can't talk because I'm excited. But from your reaction, I bet it's a good one. I liked it from the beginning. I also liked it that it's brought my sister and I closer. I got her recently into Wonder Woman comics. I bought her 4. I bought her the Rebirth series.
Nice.
The first 4 issues. Yeah, because
she's too, right?
Yeah. Because she's always asking the same questions that everybody asks, like, where do I begin? You know what I mean? Because they restarted the universe so many damn times. What version is what can I start reading? I'm like, well, you can start reading Rebirth. It's ending, or it's ended already, but that story is going to carry on to the next like reset of the universe. So you can start there. Now you know the authors, the writers, the artists. So you can, if you liked it, you can go on and read more and get more. She goes, okay, cool. Jay, she killed those books within a weekend.
See, that's all it happens. Get them into a good story, bro. They like, dude, that's all it takes. That's all, you know what? And that's the thing too. Like, the beauty of these new movies and TV shows are that they've opened up where now people want to read the stories.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a what was it? House of M for her.
Oh, bro,
so she understands it.
Go get it off. I got it off Amazon. I ended up buying the actual physical book. Because a lot of people want to do the digital. I wanted the physical book, so I bought House of M. I bought the Visions. I got to buy Scarlet Witch and the Vision.
Yeah, because that's essentially what it's based off about right now, or a version of it. But I'm so excited just to get it to her because she doesn't know about it.
Oh,
like dude. she's been reading she's been watching TikToks on it, like theories of like to help her out. I'm like, okay, that TikTok is something, but here, let me show you where those theories come from. Yeah, let me open the world to you.
Yeah, like this will let you know when people start talking. Like again, the situation with the twins. Like people no, I don't get it. Like you have to watch House of M. You have to watch You have to read House of M. You have to read the Scarlet Witch and the Vision. You have to read where it started, where it go. You even have to read the Visions because you need to understand why Vision wanted his family.
Yeah.
You got to understand different things like that. People, dude,
it killed me when you said Justice for Sparky. I'm like, oh.
Which means you've read the Vision. See, that's the thing. People who've read the Vision understand what Justice for Sparky is on top of something else. So, like, if you read the Vision, you're like, man,
for sure.
Fuck,
so
man,
I love how they're able, how Marvel, specifically only Marvel, is able to bring stuff from the comic books and like adapt it to a point where it's not essentially the same thing, but like a version of that story.
Yeah, because they're not using the writers. Unfortunately. Whereas you have DC will bring in Jeff Johns because Jeff Johns is a phenomenal he's a phenomenal comic book writer. But a comic book writer is not the same as a movie writer.
Unfortunately.
Things. And so you can't try. He tries to write a movie like a comic book, and it's like you can't. You can't.
For sure. And I know you're really hating on the new Unmentionables that are coming out soon.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. Plain and simple. Dude keeps sending people off thinking they finna get something that they're not. He keeps trying to tell people, "Oh, I'm using none of the footage Joss Whedon shot." Joss Whedon only did reshoots. People act like Whedon shot a whole new movie. Whedon did reshoots on his stuff. So why people keep thinking, oh, I'm getting this whole new movie, everything. He is plugging in other scenes. He's plugging in some different scenes. He filmed some new shit, but it's the overall same Justice League movie. 4 hours don't make this no better.
For sure. But hey, whatever. I'm just excited that I got HBO because what is it called? King King Kong versus Godzilla's coming out too.
Yeah.
Ooh,
dude, I'm
gonna be good.
But the thing with the cut, it's like again on Twitter when I get into it with people on Twitter about it, and I, the main ones I get into it because those are the diehard Snyder stands and blah blah blah. The ones who have in their bio because they donated to a charity, associate producer, and it's like you're an associate producer, but I'm gonna see this movie before you do. and I don't even. That's the thing.
You don't even like it.
I ain't even gonna like because I didn't like because I know how, as someone who's in movies who understands how movies are done, I know what this is. So I know I'm not expecting some brand new masterpiece. I think that's the thing. People keep like, well, it's his vision. Have y'all seen his visions in other shit?
To be fair though, I don't think I'm one of the few that actually liked Man of Justice. Man of Steel, sorry.
I mean,
like I liked it.
My thing was just you basically you made Superman a bitch and a murderer, and then we don't, because not just the murderer of Zod, him and Zod. Look, we talk about the kill. They do the video of the kill count of Batman v Superman, Batman kill. They don't talk about how many people Superman kills in Man of Steel. He kills a lot of people. He made Superman careless and reckless. Superman has never been that reckless.
Which also kills me too, because as much as I liked it, they just don't know how to write a good Superman story, which you would think it's an immigrant story. How more complicated can you get? A duality between Clark Kent and Superman that he's always had to balance.
Because
just
you know what I mean? At the same time, they're trying to make him the all-American boy at the same time.
But he hasn't been that in a long time, though. Like that was originally how it started.
But that's the thing.
And granted, we know him as the Big Blue, or as the villains call him, as we should call him, the Big Boy Scout.
Yeah, he's a giant Boy Scout.
He is, but also he's changed so much. You know what I mean?
But
they just don't know how to write it.
Batman doesn't like. There's certain things. I've always said this. We're at a point with we've had so many reboots and whatnot. I don't need to see Uncle Ben die anymore. I don't need to see Thomas and Martha Wayne die. Those are things I don't, because I think we're at the point in reboots and reestablishing the character. We know why they are who they are. Right? We got it. We get it. There was a traumatic experience. Bam. This is what did it. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. But when it comes to what Snyder did, again, people can say Warner Brothers had influence and they interfered with a lot of stuff. They did because they were all of a sudden because they've been trying to play catch up to Marvel,
Which
and
is the biggest mistake.
number
Biggest
one
mistake they ever did.
But also people sitting there going, the next thing too, what about the Snyder fans that really annoys me? That restore the Snyderverse shit. That's never happening.
Yeah,
it's never happening. They're like, oh, well, in the streams come that everything else. That again, Walter Hamada has already said it's a cul-de-sac of storytelling going nowhere. The head of DC, HBO Max only put money into this to get subscribers. People keep
and it worked.
And it worked. So people sitting there thinking this is some grand thing to all of a sudden build out on this. No, no, they don't want to do this no more. They are yes, there are the DC universes, the multiverse, and all this other shit. But at the same time, they have moved on.
Yeah, I don't think that in a way they have great movies, individual movies from Wonder Woman, not Wonder Woman 82, Shazam.
I liked Aquaman, despite people didn't like it. But that's why when people be like, "Oh, you don't like none of the DC films," I'm like, "You're a lie." Like, there's video record of me saying how
Joker should have won an Oscar.
I have an issue with Joker. My biggest issue with Joker is the story itself is so hard, it's not palpable. That story about a dude who goes crazy and just goes on a killing spree, right? It's such a deep story. It only works if you apply it to the Joker. Now, it's one of those it starts out where you start to feel sympathetic for him. And that's one thing I keep saying. I said this on Blur. It's like, as calling myself the resident supervillain, yo, we don't need to start feeling sympathetic for the villains. Like, damn, I feel so sorry for Arthur. I see why he turned the way he turned. No.
He's been a psychopath from the very beginning.
We just need him to be a psychopath. There's never the method to his madness is he likes chaos and destruction. That's what we need to know. That's what we know. That's what we're fine with. But when you start trying to do all this extra shit now, when you start trying to do this whole, well, how was his beginnings? What was his family like?
Sure.
I don't give a fuck.
Although you have to be fair though, like we the comic book don't even know his origin. You know what I mean? It's been explored in the recent Batman storylines or whatever. But even then, I think the film did a good job in explaining that he's an accurate author or narrator of his story.
Yeah, he's not about
And I think they show that very well because even now it's like, wait, what was real, what was fake? You know what I mean? Like what was a dream and what was the reality of it?
He's an unreliable narrator. But it's just like Harley Quinn telling Birds of Prey. They're unreliable narrators because they're telling you one thing when the truth is the other. So I get that. But again, let's go back to what he's doing with that is like with Joker. My thing was for what it was, I like the movie. I'll say this. For what Joker was, I like the movie. Now, if I'm looking at a DC Comics movie, I don't like it because Arthur Fleck is old as fuck now, right? Okay. Arthur's old. Bruce Wayne is 8 or 9.
That confused me. That confused the shit out of me too.
You get what I'm saying? And then people like it's Elseworlds. Okay, fine. I'll live with that. But I don't need my Batman going up against a Joker who's 60, 70 years old.
Not only that he was the reason why his parents died. And that according to that film.
Yeah, he started the chaos in the city that caused his parents to have to leave the other way, which in turn causes them to get killed. Like again, in the Batman, I'm excited to see what Matt Reeves does, but I do not. Again, he already said this isn't year 1, this is year 2. So don't start this movie out with his parents dying in the alley.
Also, I hate how none of them understand that as great as a fighter Batman is, and even though the actors haven't, there haven't been actually great actions, but his greatest strength is his brain. That's always been his greatest strength.
And that's why the Batman It's supposed, and we'll wrap it up in a second. But that's why Matt Reeves is supposed to be different, because for the first time since '89, we're actually going to see a detective Batman.
For sure.
Because remember, the only time we saw it in a sense was with Michael Keaton when he was trying to figure out what the chemicals were and everything that the Joker was using. Ever since then, we focus on the fights, the gadgets, and whatnot. But like, yo, he is called the world's greatest detective.
Yep, and we never ever seen it. We saw a glimpse of it in the Dark Knight series, just a bit.
When he did the bullet, when he had to reshape the bullet, that was a glimpse. But it was like. And I feel that was only done to say, all right, y'all happy? Here.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see though. We'll see,
man. But listen, I'm always glad to talk to you, brother. You know, we talk sporadically through social media and whatnot, but I'm always glad to sit down and talk with you on this. I'm glad you got the charity drive is doing well and that it's still rolling. I was saying earlier, I don't know how many more I'm gonna release to the public because the public kind of has a thing on them, but these are for the patrons. So for the patrons, the members of the squad who want to possibly check out the stream and donate, tell them.
You can go check it out on my Twitter, on my Instagram. That's where I have a link straight to the donation site. Don't worry, I touch none of the money. I don't touch anything. It's on our website called Linktree. No, Tifley. They are a major site that allows people to go and donate without having to worry about who's touching what money. So don't worry, I don't touch it. The only thing I do is just press send and goes. For the rest, you can just find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook as LT King 93, whether it's all capitals or no capital letters, just LT King 93. Same with my Twitch, twitch.tv/LT King 93. That's very simple. That's where you'll find me most on the weekends, sometimes on the weeks, depends.
And if you're already here, you know where I am and everywhere to find me, man. These are all a blast. We'll keep these coming for y'all. I'll holler at y'all in the next go round. Take care. We out. Bye.